Hi friends, it's Linda from Joyful Makes and Finds. I am back with a flip through of two little cutie rose themed journals. I'm going to go through each one because there are just a few differences. And we'll start with journal number one. It is fashioned from a paper bag that I covered with vintage rose fabric and sewed on the machine. I actually put a little number one tag on here so I don't get them confused, but it's easy to remove. I used this vintage crocheted piece with this rose in the middle as a topper slash closure, so the ties are attached to it. I covered the spine in lace, vintage lace. Oops, sorry. And let's flip through. It's a perfect journal for spring, summer, a great Mother's Day gift. Perfect for someone with a June birthday because the rose is the birth flower for the month of June. Okay, so fabric pocket. Inside of this pocket is this cute little postcard, actually made by my sister, this sweet little girl image. And there is a bulb pin with a Made with Love charm there. This is a digital from Gail Augustinelli's, I believe it's her feed sack digital. I will credit digitals in the description box. This first page here is a portion of a snippet roll that I made into a belly band. I did some stenciling and created this little journal card from some scrapbook paper and some Tim Holtz images and a vintage postage stamp. Just slides right in there. This is a page from a vintage gardening book about roses. And I attached to the edge here some really beautiful vintage tatted lace. Can you see that? Just love it. Just have a little bit of that. I'll be sad when that's gone. It's just one of my favorites. All right, and on this back side is a tuck and this little journal card, some vintage ledger, some scrapbook paper, some pretty roses. And I did stencil on all of the white sheets, the backings, just to add some interest and bring the theme together. This is a reproduction page from a Edith Holden book and some avocado dyed paper. And I just made just a little page cluster here, kind of bring in the colors. This is a page from a vintage sewing book. I just love those images. And on this back side here is an apron in the sewing book. The old books, I will put washi on the seam to reinforce it, because when the books are very old, if you sew them into the signature, they can rip a little bit, so they are reinforced. This is a fun paper. It's plates, and I think it came from a Somerset Studios magazine where in the center where they include artist paper. I think that's where that came from. And I made this multi-way pocket folded from gift wrap that has these roses on it. I put a couple of tickets here and a vintage playing card and this sweet little image since it's Mother's Day time. And there's also, I left the whole side open, so this is a tuck, and then it's also, so 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets as well as a tuck. So there's a lot that you can do and keep in this page. It's a page from a vintage yearbook. And here's a vintage receipt that I wrapped around this page and created a belly band or a tuck on each side. This is a little fold out small journaling tag from a Dear Julie Digital. And I added a little fabric and vintage trim to this belly band. On this side is this sweet image. And I added just a piece of journaling paper, things to remember. This is a page from a vintage needlepoint pattern book, and it is about roses. And I just added a little washi and a little Tim Holtz butterfly there. And on the back side is some dyed graph paper. This is a page of old scrapbook paper that I've had in my stash for a long time. And I just made a little short pocket here. Added a little Tim Holtz card. This is a page from a vintage lettering book. This is a sweet vintage image from a greeting card from my collection. And I have it just tucked into this pocket. That is some scrapbook paper that I used a rose embossing folder to create this pretty texture. This is the center of the signature here, and this is a called a Maison, just some vintage music. And this digital is from, I think it's, I don't know, I can't remember. I don't want to misspeak. I put it in the description box. One of my favorite digitals I use, I think, every spring. And this is some decoupaged napkin on the back of this music paper. And to the center of the signature, I beaded, I used Swarovski crystals, these beautiful glass rose beads. And this is an actual rose quartz. So I just pulled out some beautiful matching beads to go with these journals. There's a top tuck with this little handmade journal card. The back sides, there's always some little scraps that are lingering in the centers. This is a tea bag with some rose tea as a little treat from me to you. The back side of that needlepoint pattern book, and I added a little fabric tab here. Made a little cluster here, and this is just a beautiful, it's an actual stamp, Canadian vintage stamp of the Queen. And a fabric flip here with one of my favorite vintage rose fabrics and a bit of vintage lace. This is one of my favorite little spreads. It just, the roses and the fabric just in this stamp just makes me happy. And here is the back side of the yearbook page. And then this page, I took a paper bag and I ran it through the embossed roses on there, and added a couple of blank tags to this little pocket here. And in the pocket of the bag is a tall Dear Julie Digital rose tag, and I added some of that pretty rose topper fabric, or vintage fabric as a topper. Let's see if I can get that to slide back in there. Always a challenge, and when filming, not to bumble. Okay, and this paper bag is gusseted, so there is a lot of room to add more items. The taller items fit best in the back, and then shorter items in the front because of this pocket here. And then in the side, I made this a tuck spot as well, and I just put two more of those really pretty digital tags in there. think they are so pretty. So just a really fun page. I tried to leave a lot of writing space on tags and some blank areas, and there's so many pockets in this journal. Sweet little vintage image there. The back side of the Edith Holden reproduction page. And then here is a fold out for journaling on this pretty rose scrapbook paper. And this is a tuck. I don't have anything in there, but you can certainly use it to tuck some writing paper or a journal card or whatever you'd like. And then on this last page here is a glassine bag that I decoupaged with some vintage tissue paper. And I put the little sentiment finders keepers here. And then inside of that is a large tag with this pretty vintage lady and the fabric from the cover as a topper. And it is also a tuck. So there's lots of room to tuck your own journaling cards and things in here for journaling or keepsakes or what have you. And then this is the last page, and this last pocket here is just a note from me. And in the very last, you know, since this is a paper bag, there's a large pocket, and I just tucked in there a vintage recipe for salad. Okay, and that is journal number 1, and it closes around the back like that. Okay, let's look at journal number 2. I won't take the time to take the number 2 pin off of there so I don't get them confused. Absolutely the same cover, but you will notice some differences in the ephemera and a little bit of the order of the inside. So the note from me, the note card from me is in the cover front pocket there. And we have the pretty snippet roll belly band and just a plain embossed rose journal card there. You could add some writing paper to it or whatever you'd like. I just thought it looked so pretty next to these roses here from this vintage gardening book. And I also put that trim, that pretty tatted trim on the back, on the side of this, the edge. Okay, let's find the differences here. This is the Edith Holden page and kind of a little cluster here to kind of bring out the colors, connect those pages together. This is a little pocket here in this avocado dyed paper with this pretty little journal card. This is the plate scrapbook paper, artist paper. The same multi-fold pocket with the same elements in it as in journal 1. And as I said, there's room for more. There's pockets and tuck spaces that do not have anything in them. So you can definitely add more to this. Here is the over the page belly band and a rose journal card tucked in there, a bit of vintage fabric there. And then on the back side is some writing paper. Page from the same vintage sewing book. This is an over the page doily that serves as a pocket on each side. And I have this handmade journaling card in this side. And on this side, the scrapbook paper that I made into a fold out tag for lots of journaling. I'm sorry if I'm scooting all over little tuck spot here with a Tim Holtz card. This is the center of the signature, and this center music set is the songs my mother taught me, and the beads that I put on the center of these signature ties. Again, rose quartz and Swarovski crystals, pearls, rose beads, some of my favorite beads. They're just so sweet. Okay, this is the glassine decoupaged bag with a Tim Holtz tag in it and fabric topper. This is also a tuck spot and a pocket. So there's lots of room for tucking in your own journaling pages or memorabilia, keepsakes, whatever. A sweet little journaling card here. And I use this vintage rose trim and vintage rose lace, and she just kind of peeking out. Coffee dyed paper, back of the page of the sewing book. This is the flip, you with that pretty rose fabric and lace. This is a over the page double tuck, so there's a tuck on this side with this cute little card in it, and this side is also a tuck, but I don't have anything tucked in there. And then this is the paper bag that is embossed with roses. It has a pretty tag on the inside of the paper bag, and there's room for more. There are some blank tags in this outer pocket and some pretty rose digital tags tucked into the side. So lots of fun. This is a rose tea bag, and I just tucked some another little blank scrapbook paper cardstock journaling card in there. I thought it looked pretty. And this is just a little page decoration here. And the flip out for lots of journaling. And then this belly band here with the sweet handmade journaling tag I made from a coffee dyed index card. And this is avocado dyed and sewn ruffle. And then the last page has this pretty little postcard journaling card that my sister made. It's got a little piece of a vintage quilt and a vintage button sewn on it. And then in this last pocket is yet another vintage recipe for cucumber salad and chicken rice salad, lime jello salad. This is from one of those church cookbooks. Okay, so that is journal number 2. They are currently listed in my Etsy shop, Joyful Makes and Finds. And just really excited. These were so much fun to work on. The theme and the colors and just the sweetness of the roses are just things that really just kind of make my heart sing. Of course, each one will come with a baggie of extra fabrics and offcuts and buttons and little doodads that are left over on my desk after making the journals. And that is it for now. As always, thank you for taking a few minutes to spend with me and taking a minute to look through these journals. I hope it's something that you enjoy. I hope that you get maybe a couple of ideas, things that you can add to your own journals, or just enjoy taking a few minutes to think about roses and spring and Mother's Day. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. There is a link in the description box to the listings of these journals in my Etsy shop, and any digitals that I used are also listed there below. I welcome comments. Please leave me a comment, a like, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate every minute that you spend with me, more than you know. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon with a new project. Bye-bye.